So today's video is about creating story pins for your business. Story pins are the newest and shiniest tool on Pinterest to get more engagement and more followers on the platform. Now, I did not say more traffic, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But if you're interested in learning all about story pins, including 5 different industries with 5 different examples of story pins that you can create depending on who you are and what your business is, I'm gonna give those to you today, as well as some expert tips on creating those story pins. And I'm gonna show you some success with actual metrics on my account where I have been testing story pins out. I'm not an expert at story pins, but we are doing them fast, we're doing them ugly, we're just doing them because that is what the platform is wanting from us right now, and we just want to make sure that we are using the tools that they give us. Use the story pin creator inside of your app. So on your Pinterest app, I'm going to pull it up. You have now so many more tools inside the story pin creator than we previously had. I say than we previously had because used to you could literally just upload static images or videos that you'd previously recorded, but you weren't actually able to use the app to create and build your story pin. So inside of your story pin, when you click that plus sign on your app, and I'm gonna have my editor share this on the screen, click story pin, and then you're gonna have a black box. So on your black box, you're going to click that plus button, and now you have this camera view of yourself. So you will start recording your story pin like this, and as you record your story pin, you can then hit the stop button and you click the done button, and now this screen comes up here. On this screen, you're going to click that design button, and now inside of your app, with the design, you can clip your video. You can edit the video clip if you messed something up. You can add text on the screen. Remember, Pinterest loves text overlays because they can read it. You can add music from the app. So in your Pinterest Story Pin app, and they're adding new music almost every day. You can do voiceovers. So if you filmed something, like maybe I did a behind the scenes filming of this video, prop my phone up and just did some clip recording, I could go back in and do voice overlay afterwards. Another really great tip to do voice overlay is if you're doing screen recording, but you don't want to record yourself talking to the screen. Now you can do that with your iPhone, where you can actually do a voice record or a screen recording, and it connects the audio that you're speaking at the phone as well. But if you want a little bit cleaner approach, you can record your screen, strip off the audio, and do a voiceover. You can also add filters, so if you wanted to pretty it up a little bit, and you can mention other Pinterest users in your story pin by clicking the mention button in the bottom right hand corner. It's down here. And then you just search for them. So for example, if I was talking about Tailwind in my story pin, I could search for Tailwind in the search bar, and now they come up on my screen, and I can tag them in my video. So those are just some expert tips to use the story pin builder inside of the native app. I do find that when you use the native app, I have found when you use the native app, you actually get better reach and engagement on your story pins, which is, I think a lot of people are focused on repurposing content, which we're going to get to, but with that, it runs the risk of copyright issues and all kinds of other things. So just word to the wise, use your app in your phone. We just talked about repurposing, or I just mentioned it. You can definitely repurpose your Instagram Reels, your TikToks, and your Instagram Stories into a story pin. I have tested this, and I'm going to show you in the analytics. I don't suggest repurposing Instagram Reels or TikToks into a story pin because they don't get good reach or engagement. I'm not sure if it's just Pinterest picking up on the fact that it was a story in another place, or if it was a TikTok video and the logo is on there. I don't really know the rhyme or reason, but I've tried it multiple times and it gets like next to zero reach and engagement. And that's the whole purpose of story pins. So on the other side of that, I've actually started repurposing those videos as video pins and linking them to another video, like a YouTube video. So if you want to repurpose the content you're creating on other platforms as story pins, then make sure you're downloading that to your device without a watermark, or you're like screen recording the content. That way there's no watermark and you can add on to it. One final expert tip that you can do is to create text-based content as story pins. So if you don't want to show up as the face of your story pin, then you can always just create text-based slides as stories, and you can do that in Canva or on your phone or whatever creation tool that you use. You could even repurpose Instagram stories into your story content on Pinterest as a slide. You just want to make sure that your story is an actual story. It has a hook, it has an arc, the story arc, and then it has a natural end and a call to action. Without those three components, the hook, that arc, the story arc, and the natural end and call to action, you're not going to see good return on your story pin. Now, one thing that we are seeing inside the agency with clients, as well as with my account, is when I create a story pin and I also have a static image going live with the same content. So I always start with my pillar content creation model, and I create my one piece of pillar content, and then I create on other platforms to support that pillar piece. When I do that and I create that pillar piece of content, let's say on YouTube where you're watching now, and then I repurpose and I create a story pin for it, and I have a static pin next to it, people are going to my profile and they're following me and they're engaging with that other content and then leaving the platform through a static image or a video pin. So just because your story pins don't lead anywhere, which if you're just watching this and you're just learning about story pins, newsflash, they don't lead anywhere off of Pinterest. That is another way that you can get people to the ultimate destination, which is wherever you want them to go, wherever you do your best conversions. For me, lately, that's been YouTube or my website, and then getting them to my email list, and then ultimately getting them back to social, and round the hamster wheel we go. We've unpacked some expert tips around story pins. If at this point you're still confused around what story pins are, they are a native story that gets lifetime viewership on Pinterest, because they're not like Instagram stories or Twitter stories or Facebook stories. They do not expire. In fact, they live on and on forever, and they are searchable on the platform. As long as your content is live, it hasn't been taken down, people can search for them and consume that content. So that is the good part about story pins. They may not lead anywhere, but they are searchable and they do lead back to you. All roads lead back to you. Let's do a couple examples. I've got 5 examples. We're going to hammer through them really quick, and then I want to show you a couple of analytics on my computer around this whole story pin phenomenon. Food bloggers. If you're a food blogger, you can show the process of cooking a meal from grocery store to plate, show that behind the scenes process. Now, this kind of goes back to the expert tips. You get 20 slides. You get 20 slides, and each slide, I believe if you do videos, up to 60 seconds, 59 seconds. So that could be up to 20 minutes of content, okay? So keep that in mind. DIY creators, show the behind the scenes of you creating a thing. For example, if you're a plant blogger, because I recently did a strategy session with a plant blogger, you can show the behind the scenes process of repotting a plant. From choosing a plant, choosing the soil, how to care for that plant after you repot it, all the way through. Show them that story and then call them to action at the end. Number 3, beauty and fashion creators. Show how you choose your wardrobe. How do you choose your makeup? How do you put it on? How do you pair it with shoes and bags and jewelry, right? Show that process of what that looks like and tell a story. Content creators, like myself, choose one thing that you can share an expert tip on. For example, I'm going to show you one of my best story pins. It was how to use keywords on Pinterest. And I literally broke it down, how to use keywords on Pinterest. And I took them through, called them to action at the end. And last but certainly not least, e-commerce shop owners. There's a lot of potential for you with story pins, actually, for you e-com owners. Show people what your product is about and how it can change their life. The example I have for you today is if you're a backpack brand, show somebody how they can use your backpack from packing it empty to packing it up. So for example, if you're a diaper backpack brand, show the inside of the bag, show me the pockets, take me through your bag, and then show me how I can pack that. So no matter where I go with my baby, I have what I need to succeed as a mom in that moment. Those were 5 quick industries and 5 quick examples of how you can use story pins in your business. So let's dive into the computer and I'm going to show you some quick analytics around my story pin tests, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. All right, so let's dive into story pins, but before we get started, I just want to let you know that I do have a board around story pin inspiration. So if you're looking for story pin inspiration, I created this board, how to use story pins plus some great examples, and I have examples in each industry that I have repinned to this board. So if you want that help and you're looking for those tips, definitely click over to this board. You'll find it on my profile. And then I really just wanted to show you, and not all my story pins are even on this board, but I just wanted to show you the results of what I have done and explain a little bit about it. So this right here and this right here are TikTok videos that I repurposed into story pins. And you can see in the last 30 days, they've only had 207 impressions and 496 impressions. Now that's not very good considering the one I did in the middle had 7.6 thousand impressions, and this was something that I created native in the app. So I actually used my device, filmed the story pin in app, and then uploaded that to the platform. Now if you're ever in the midst of filming a story pin and you get a phone call or you need to put it on pause, you can save it as a draft, come back to it later. That's not a big deal. Now this is an example of a story-based text slide that I created, so it's not a talking head, it's very much, I created this in Canva and uploaded it. It had 1.8 thousand impressions and 35 people click through, and I actually got a couple of sales from this one because at the end, I actually have a slide that says to go, it's the call to action, go to this link and get your own system. Now, the one that did really, really well for me, and I think that this is a good example for you, is were these two: how to optimize your website for Pinterest users and how to find keywords to use for your Pinterest strategy. Again, these were text-based slides. These were created back when the native app wasn't actually allowing us to film ourselves or even add music or anything. So I created these in Canva, uploaded them as story pins into Pinterest. So in the last 30 days, I've had 11.6 thousand impressions, 112 people have clicked through, and 2 people have saved it. So I just did like, each slide is like a little video, and I'm showing people exactly what to do and where to go, and then my call to action is to enroll in my course. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you the real back end of my story pins and what I have seen and experienced, because not everything is sunshine and rainbows like what everyone else is talking about. It takes some practice, it's going to take some time and testing to really figure out what resonates with your audience and what works for you. If what works for you is text-based, then do text-based. But if what works for you is to film it native in the app and have yourself talking to the camera, then do that too, because I'm finding those talking head videos like these are getting a better engagement than regular video pins. People are actually consuming that content. So if you are a creator and you are looking for ways to really implement a Pinterest story pin strategy, I would just start with figuring out how you can take one piece of content, repurpose it, and tell a story with it, and then give them a call to action at the end. Make it really actionable. If you're looking for those inspiration pieces, hop on over here and check out the 5 different industries that I have connected to this board and just dive in. And that's it for now. That's it for now, friends. So I really hope you enjoyed this breakdown of story pins. I hope it changes your mindset around using story pins in your business. I previously have published a YouTube video all about my first reactions to story pins last fall, in the fall of 2020. If you want to watch that video, I will tag it somewhere. It's on my channel, and my thought process is still the same. The reason they created this tool is to keep people on the platform. They want more people to see their ads because they are a publicly traded company and their stock prices are around $90 a share. So they want to make money, but in order to continue to make money, we in order as creators to continue to make money, sometimes we have to do things or create things that we necessarily are not used to. In this case, story pins. Now, other platforms have already broken us into creating stories on their platforms, so we just have to change our mindset a little bit around it, including myself, and really just dive in. So if you need some more Pinterest marketing tips, head on over and watch our Pinterest marketing for beginners playlist, and I will see you next time, friend.